Hi, this is Hope, and I just had a dream about empty fish tanks that I wanted to share with you, as well as an incredible confirmation and the interpretation. So, here's my dream. I was walking, my husband and I were walking through an old home, our first home actually, that we had together. Although I knew I had been there about 8 or 9 years, and which is not true. I think we only lived there one or 2 years. But anyway, that's important. So I'm walking through this home, and even though I'd lived there that long, I just noticed that we had these huge empty fish tanks. You know, they're about like 3 feet long, maybe 2 feet tall, full of water, full of things in them to populate it with fish. I mean, it was all ready. There was even a little pull cord, and I pulled on it. I could hear the motor going a little bit to clean the water, and also some flickering lights. Not much light, but some flickering lights. So they were empty. So I walked to one, and I walked to the other, and then there was a third one, and the third one was just very small. There was no decorations in it at all. Even the first fish tank looked like it had a pretend city in it, but it was empty. Everything was empty. And this last fish tank was very small, not like the one here. I'm just trying to give you something to look at. But the last one had, I noticed there was something moving in it, and I called my husband over and I said, "Look, there's a live fish here." And the fact that it had been there 8 or 9 years blew me away, because we hadn't been feeding it. And it was on its last breath of water. I was going to say air, but of water. And I looked, and there was a pile of dead fish in the middle of it. So this last fish had been eating, you know, cannibalizing its own fish people, whatever, family, I don't know. So that's what it had been eating to stay alive, and it was almost dead. And my first thought was, I have to save this fish. You know, I had all this compassion for this tiny fish, no bigger than 2 inches. It was gray. It was not colorful at all. It was dying. It was almost dead. So I scooped up. I found a little scooper, and I scooped it up to try to put it in a bigger tank. I found fish food right away, and I put some in the water, and the fish, it got caught between my finger and the tank, excuse me, because it was almost dead. So it was just slimy and hard to catch and all that, and I was going to put a piece of fish food in it and try to save it, and I woke up. So the first thing when I woke up is, sometimes when I wake up this early, I have my phone nearby, so I'll look to see what's happened on Twitter. You know, that's the first thing I want to see as a bride. What we want to do, we're always watching. Was there another bombing of Syria? You know, what did we do? What's happening in Israel? So I looked at my Twitter feed, and I kid you not, the very first, bear with me as I change pictures here, the very first Twitter picture I found was this one. Okay, hang on there. NOAA Fisheries recognizes Joint Base for recovery team for their work in Alaska. Okay, and I'm like, are you kidding me? NOAA Fisheries? I didn't even know NOAA had fisheries. So I thought that was really a confirmation. So I read the story. Here's the story, and some words stuck out at me. First of all, Alaska is the last place that I would want to be, because it's cold. It's beautiful. You know, I'd like to go on a tour there and all that, but right now, as a desperate place to be living, that would be, you know, harsh. I've seen some of the TV shows about looking for a home and off the grid and all that. Those people, I give them a lot of credit. They're able to do a lot. So, but it's very cold. I don't like cold. So that's not a place I would choose, but it is a last place, which is important. So then we've got some words that stood out to me. First of all, this wing You know, these people that help rescue these whales are part of a wing base, and it reminded me of the angels. And then they had a special ceremony for them as warriors, you know, Arctic Warrior Event Center. I thought that kind of points to the bride at times, because she will be a warrior. She will help in this manner. And the last thing that caught my eye was the word extinction. You know, species most at risk of extinction. And in my dream, there was one fish left, and just that was it. He was eating other fish. He was ready to go. And so this confirmation of this dream being from God was amazing to me. And the interpretation I got for it was that we, as the bride, I know many of us talk about we want to be at the wedding, we want to be at heaven, we want to do this and that in heaven with Jesus, and I do too, but there's a part of me that says, Lord, send me down to earth to get the very last person. I mean, my heart goes out to all my coworkers especially. I pray for them daily. I want every single one of them that I've ever known, and I've been there 8 or 9 years, so I'm curious as to if this dream is pointing to God telling me, yes, you're going to be able to help your coworkers down to the last one, because I want all of them in heaven, every one of them. And it's possible that this interpretation is exactly that, is that we will be going into these harsh places, cold, hot. You know what's going to happen. You've read Revelation. We're going to be helping to rescue down to the very last person, which I'm reminding of that verse that says, not only will I make you fishers of men, but also the one that says, man will be rare as the gold of Ophir, or something like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, that was my dream, and I wanted to tell you about it to encourage you, because I know there's people you think aren't going to make it. They're just not going to make it. And as far as I'm concerned, they are, because you're praying for them, and God says no prayer goes unanswered. He hears every single one of them. And so even if it's the very last person, and they're on extinction, by golly, I think He's going to let us work with them and try to bring them back to heaven with us. That's it.